Go.
Okay, so now we're on to our final question, which is our biggie, 16 marker plus 4 for spag, which means we've got to try and use as many keywords and spell correctly on this answer. If you try anywhere to spell correctly, let it be this answer, because 4 marks can be the difference between a grade boundary here, so it's so important you try and get as many spag marks as you can. So 16 marks, we're looking at roughly 20 minutes, roughly 4 paragraphs. The question is, the main reason for tensions between East and Western Europe in the 1960s was the actions of the Soviet Union. How far do you agree with this statement? Explain your answer. Don't waste your time doing an introduction. Time is precious. You know, we cannot just kind of start whittering on about Cold War and all this sort of stuff. We haven't got time for it. We need to get straight into our answer. So what we are looking for is roughly 3 points and a conclusion. Those are your 4 paragraphs. So it's up to you. There's no right or wrong answer in this. You know, you can agree that it was the actions of the Soviet Union, but also you could say that it was because of the actions of the USA. This is up to you. Remember, there is no right or wrong answer, just so long as you justify and you say whether or not you agree, or you could say I disagree because I think it's the USA. You must make sure you do that. So we've got on one side our Soviets, on our other side we've got our USA. So I'm just going to draw it up like this. Obviously in an exam you can plan like this, and you know, I would definitely encourage it. You can draw little plans around the side. You can even ask for a bit of extra paper, something to plan out your answer. And I know you might feel like you're wasting time, but actually you're saving time in the long run, because rather than sitting there thinking, oh, what am I going to write next, you've got it in your plan, and you can go just through your plan and start writing out, and it actually gives for a much better flow. So we need to think, what's happened now? The main reason for the tension between East and West in the 1960s, it's very important that we pick up on the 1960s. So, unfortunately, your Berlin blockade can't count here because that's out of the time period. What is within our time period, though, is our Berlin Wall. I'd say that's definitely something that the Soviets did that led to our tension, so the building of our Soviet wall. Another thing that our Soviets did was our Prague Spring. You could write about that as another point. On the flip side, what is it the USA have done that potentially led to our tensions? Well, we could say due to their aggressive spying on the USSR. We talked about our U-2 spy planes. That really wound them up, didn't it? Also, another thing that really wound up the USSR was placing American missiles in Turkey. Okay, so they felt very threatened by that, the fact that missiles were very close. And again, it all built into this tension. And you could even say, again, something that the USSR did was the continued anti-communist sort of stance that they took. Now, what I would say is make 2 points on one side and 1 point on the other. So decide whether you're going to say USA contributed more or Soviet Union. If you think it's the Soviet Union, write 2 paragraphs, so 2 points, Berlin Wall, Prague Spring, and then pick 1 paragraph to write about your USA and what they did, and then in your conclusion explain why you think Soviet Union. If you're arguing USSR, then obviously do it other way round. So write a couple of strong paragraphs about what it is that they did that led to tension, and you know, 1 paragraph perhaps on what the Soviet Union did, and then so how far do you agree with the statement? So in your conclusion you must say, do you agree? Yes or no? That is answering your question. If you do not do it, then you haven't technically answered the question. So you need to say whether or not you agree with the statement. And that is what you would do in your conclusion. Okay, it's so important that you refer back to that All right, that's where our top levels really come in, when you start using these turns of phrase, when you start answering that question overall. Okay, so how far do this statement? You could say, I agree partially. If you want to go down that route, you know, you could say I agree, or I don't agree, or perhaps partially agree, because actually it was workings of both of them at this point in time. You know, none of them were completely innocent in any of this. So when you're concluding, say whether or not you agree, yes or no, or offer an alternative. Perhaps saying no, an alternative could be that both were to blame. But I'll leave that up to you to decide how you are going to conclude that answer. And that would be how you would answer a 16 marker, not forgetting our 4 marks for SPAG. Alright, so best of luck with this Year 11. This is going to be the mock that you're going to be sitting over the next week or so within your history lessons, and I wish you all best of luck. Please take on board everything that we've said today. Don't forget about writing structure, don't forget about linking back to the question, check the question time and time again, but also most importantly, this is where a lot of you fell down on your original mock, timing. Please be really careful on your timing. Alright, 16 marks, 20 minutes, 4 paragraphs. If you start going over 20 minutes, move on. Likewise for other questions. There's no point for giving yourself such little time to answer those bigger questions as you go through the paper. That's my one piece of advice to you. Please, please, please stick to our time suggestions. Alright, best of luck. Well done.